What do you call your kinds of skis?
These are
Bear paw?
Yeah.
Is that good for the kind of snow we got here, Nick? Take a peek once. Take a peek.
It's good for working through brush and heavy stuff. The longer ones are for long distance, open cross country. These are much smaller.
Like
so you can
while you're on the move. These little things, what are these things called? These, what are they, cheap?
They're like bear paws.
Like little aluminum
Yeah.
paws.
These are wooden ones. You got aluminum, I got wood ones. Just put a new coat of varnish on them.
Already I can hear the, let's look down here, Tylor Forks right down there, or the Root Beer River, some people call it.
Right. Still open.
Take a little bit of a peek. It's open actually. There's seems to be a nice flow of water through there. We're down at the bottom of Moore Park Road at where the Tylor Forks comes by. One of the spots that we thought that the ancient Indian Trail probably came right down here. I mean, part of the reason that there's a landing here and it's called Moore Park Road is because people have always been coming here for who knows how long. And Whittlesey, when he came through the area in 1860, found that the Indians actually favored the trail that split and went up and over the crest. Not that there wasn't here, but they favored the trail. So there was a split somewhere on that Ironton Trail going down here, probably one going up to the summit. And we're at the bottom of that summit, somewhere up in this direction I'm going to show you, which is west, is where the summit is. And we're going to go around the corner here and see if we can't see the gates to heaven, as we call them, which is a slab that comes right through there where the ice lady showed up last spring. So let's go ahead. You wanna break in front of me here, and we'll keep this going just a little bit while we get moving. And there were some other people here that when we came down Moore Park Road, they were just leaving. This is maybe 200 feet from where the bulk sampling platform's going to be, up on top of the hill there a little bit.
They want to pile the tailings, the debris here from their, well, they call it bulk sampling, we'll just call it mining, their initial mining operation. They want to pile it next to this.
Some people call it mini mining. They want to get, 4,000 tons or something like that. It's not like it's a couple of scoops or anything. It is a lot of material.
They want to pile it near. Paul, remember 10, 15 years ago we were talking about outstanding resource waters? Wasn't this one of them? Tylor Forks?
If it wasn't, it has to be one because it's so undisturbed.
Right.
I mean, this was disturbed the last time from what I read in 1857 was one of the times, but probably around the turn of the century there was another try. I think that's when some of those structures that are up there were built for electrical elevator systems and hauling and so forth. So you get these mine heads that you find in the woods, and there's one up here. I think that was from around 1890, but the stories out of here about the stone lady come out of the Tylor Forks area in 1857. Whittlesey was around here in 1860 doing cross sections, and notes that there's a trail that comes up and into the crest, up and over the crest. He says he wonders why they favor that trail rather than through the gorge. And we even know today there's just a natural trail that comes through there. It's already been broken. There's been other people here, and Nick's ahead of me now, breaking it down a little bit more. I'd say about a quarter of a mile. We just went around the bend. I'm going to take you through this here. Tylor Forks is running right alongside of us, but it's underwater down here. Just behind us is that sharp bend that goes around to the parking lot at Moore Park Road, but this is one of the most well-tread pathways into the Penokees. How many people you think came through here this summer on this trail, Nick?
Thousands. And I'm thinking specifically right now of the children, the young people from Spain who came here. And I can hear some of that Spanish language in my head right now.
How many kids were there?
25, 30.
So when they got on here and they were speaking in their native language, the woods was filled with
Muchachos, words like that. But you could feel it because Luis Salas was the interpreter, and his body language was very welcoming and warm with these young people. And I sometimes wonder, Paul, if those young people went back to Spain and helped us go after Dollar Bill.
Well, there's karma there. It's interesting that
karma.
there's that many children from Spain showed up, and then we later find out that the head of Gogebic Taconite, the project here, is being charged with environmental crimes in Spain, as their company's been fighting them for 3 years now, and the children came from Spain. So we have a natural connection of some kind. They were either brought here or we were brought there or whatever, which is helpful, because we've contended all along that these guys are liars, simply because they've lied to people. Ask the chairman of the Ashland County Board what he thinks of these guys, and he'll tell you that they've lied to everyone. So the visit from Spain with the kids was pretty unique and instructive, maybe, of some of what's going on here.
The Bad River ladies down to Madigan, so they were by the big water too.
Is that Phoebe or who?
That was Gouget.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Gouget took them down to Madigan, so they were by those.
Is that Carolyn in that?
Carolyn's sister.
Okay.
Yeah, I think she's Redcliffe woman, but
she's a charrette, yeah. They're charrettes, yeah. But I took them up to the sloughs and stuff. Cool.
So that was cool, and it was a great day. So I think we probably had several thousand people on this trail. Some of them bathing in this river, including me.
Oh, well.
Bathed in this river most of the summer.
It was the Penokee baptism.
It's a baptism.
So, here we're going to go, let's stop for a minute here. This is part of the scene here. I'm going to take my glove off and see if I can bring that in just a little bit.
You know, Paul, a river
gurgles?
Never sleeps. Rivers never sleep. They just keep moving all the time, right?
And if you come out here and listen to that sound, isn't there something serene about that?
Remember when I saw you out here last spring? You were with your granddaughter?
Noka.
Noka.
Yeah, the soft one.
Right?
Yeah, she came out here.
Nice time.
Thought it was beautiful out here. All right, let's see where we're going. Or did we have someone in boots, or were they on shoes too?
They were in boots.
Last year when I came out here, there was I think snowshoes, or not snowshoes, but ski, cross-country ski trail all the way through here on parts of this, in addition to the snowshoe trail. Who's that? Oh yes, this could be. He sent some pictures here of the gorge up onto the website, and that's what we want to ask people again and again. Now I can see the arches in the background over there. Yeah, this is where I came around, somewhere right around here, and saw the ice lady last spring up here, because this is the real sharp bend. It turns going south again, and that's the falls coming out of the gorge up there. So let's keep moving. And actually what was interesting this summer was the development of what I call your lower and upper trails along many rivers. Some that go along when it's real low makes sense because it's right along the bottom of the stream bed, river bed, and you can really move along really nicely, but then in high times you got to go to the high ground. So we had both what I call lower and upper level trailing going on here, and we're kind of using a mix and match today from what I remember. We're kind of coming down here. I'm going to stop for a minute and let you listen to this again up in the Penokees on the Tylor Forks, renamed by Indonis the Root Beer River. And here's one of the little side creeks that's coming down here. I'm going to come down to this here. Right down here in front of me is one of these little, all the way through here, the river becomes alive when it rains, and it rained so much last spring that there's all these little side tributaries coming down here which people had to jump over and get through and everything. To come up to the gorge, but it rains and it pours off because the metallic geology beneath us.
So
now,
the old trail, it was called the Ironton Trail.
That's what they named it.
Okay.
Once I suppose the Europeans, but it's more likely that the Cahokians built it. I mean, there's some evidence that they go back in the area here. 2,000 years ago, 260 AD, 1,800, 2,000 artifacts. That's where they find a lot of artifacts. There is contentions that even Clovis stuff came through here earlier than that in some of the areas, but not as defined as the Cahokians from East St. Louis in the copper industry that they partook in up in this area. Yeah. That's the spotted copper with silver embedded in it that was found and marketed throughout the world. The Aztecs had it, and you find it in across the seas. Somehow it got over there. So
international trade, even back then, right?
Even back then. Now you can't have a nicer cover of snow. How much snow have you had up here so far?
There's been 2-3 feet, I'd say.
I mean, what you have here is usually the snow is up at the top and at the bottom, but in this case there's snow even on the side of these trees, stuck to the side of the trees, stuck on every single branch. And when you look at this area from a distance, it is really, it looks chilly. And then you get trees like this. Let's see if I can pick that up. There it is. Very artistic. Now this thing seems to have a bunch of faces hanging off of it. That's one of the trademarks of this area. Trees that look like they got people looking at you and saying, "Hey, thanks for coming through here and protecting us." Miigwech. So whatever brought the Cahokians up here, it could have been the onions, because there was millions of onions that people picked last spring. And not millions. I think we took a little over a couple, 1,000 or two maybe. But literally per square foot in some areas, there was thousands of leeks. Some people call them rams. And they dried a lot of them out and sent them back. Next spring, I think. We're going to do some dehydrating of those wild onions a little bit and pass them out like they did. Most of those were all gifted out. Soup. You keep putting wild onions on your venison.
Wild onions,
Does that keep
them in bear fat.
Does that keep the mosquitoes off you in the middle of the winter?
Onions. I love onions and I love garlic. I had some the other day. My deer meat, it was really good. Boy, this is different in the winter, Paul. This is more contemplative, eh? You got a great variety of trees here. It's not like it was a plantation. This is a real wood, eh?
Yep. Your cedars look beautiful.
Yeah.
Balsams. We even have some hemlock in the area here. I see birch and yellow birch.
Yellow birch is a tree I want to get closer to.
It was considered, I believe, the source of a great medicine. See, and here's, well, they says you can tap them. Here's a,
We gotta do that next
let's
spring.
take a look
Tap
at this.
besides the maple, tap some birch trees.
All right, there we go. Look at that.
Yeah.
Watch something pop out. Wave me away. What are you doing looking at this?
Look at this guy.
Okay, so
Alright. This one is talking.
big red-headed pileated maybe or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's got all kinds of. This is artwork in the Penokees again and again and again. You're looking at this tree, and with the white background, like here it takes. You know, if I had a snapshot, snap, boom, right there. Everything's white on the right side. You got a woodpecker artwork on the tree. I hear something hammering around now. What was that? Let's head on up to the.
Okay.
We're coming up to the gates of heaven, as I call them, the gorge. We're kind of up on the high bank a little bit, but we'll be able to get back down there to the forks in a minute. And we'll see if we can get close enough for you to show you that vein that comes through here, that the coveted vein of iron ore, you know. Now somewhere right in here is where the ice lady, I believe, was down in this area. Yeah. And the thing is last winter I was down on, and in fact that's what someone went down to check it out here. See? Last year I was out on the river, it was lower, and you could see more ice. So let's take a peek at this. I'm gonna go down there as long as I got the shoes today. See how it feels. Because it does get creepy up here at, there we go, we're down below the falls. There's another level up here. We're gonna go up there. I'm just gonna turn around here, come out here. Give you a peek of what it looks like. This is going north. And it goes north for a while and then turns west and dumps into the Bad River at Brownstone Falls, just north of Copper Falls. And of course Copper Falls is the Bad River flowing north into Lake Superior. From south of the Penokee Range, it comes through the gap and flows north. So this Tylor Forks is doing the basically same thing. It's flowing north, and it comes from the south, and it's going to come through a gap. We're going to show you in just a minute. We should be up there. We should move along. We're losing battery power pretty fast out in this chilliness here, so we're about halfway down on our battery on this little machine. We decided to take the small camera out and go for a walk here rather than up to the crest. But having done this, I think a snowshoe hike up to the crest is warranted. Nick, warranted. A walk to the crest soon.
We will.
Because I think that's where people used to go. This would make a great winter camping area down in here. Enclosed, out of the wind. On the other hand, if you wanted a place for a breeze during the summer, less mosquitoes, go up to the crest. That way you can watch the big storms come in from a long distance. You got a few storms this summer that were pretty wild this last summer.
That big lightning that struck near Felina's tent.
And the tree,
And the tree.
starburst tree.
And the starburst tree where we've been taking the children all summer and fall. Major storm patterns right through that ridge there, which the local people all know about. Russell knows about it. And then that big conglomerate rock out there. You go this way?
Sure. Right there's the one last falls. If we went down to the lakeside, usually during the summer you'd tower over it and look down until we get around to this side. Now this is the high ground path anyway, so. And I remember the trees that got dropped down here where all of a sudden it changes the whole nature of the trail. going along, and all of a sudden the trail disappeared, and you said, "Wow, what happened?" And find that a couple trees came down in a storm. Within about a week or two, a new trail developed around it, so that's part of what we're going through right now is a little bit of that reconfiguration. I see people have been down here, and we should be able to see the gates up to the east of us when we get down here. Cedar all over the place, beautiful cedar trees. Low hanging. It just feels good being out here. And there we are. There's the gates coming up. We'll be able to show you those gates in a minute as we come out of the woods here. Now, Nick, I believe this is where the ice lady was, down in this area right here. There's a little falls sequence here that you can see sometimes. I think it's right at the bottom here. This is the bottom right here, right down here. And you see just a little bit of this phenomena of ice foam down there in the corner, just a little bit of it. So we'll walk down here. This is a vein, the crossing of a vein here going east to west, tilted at what, 65 degrees?
How do we say that? That's Bowabic?
Well, Biwabik is one way, that'd be metal.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that say the name's Penokee comes out of that old Penokee, that potato, Opin, Penokee, the land of the potatoes, which is this area, but then Gogibik related to Biwabik or metal. And again, sometimes names take derivatives because they're compounded. Someone's trying to say something. Why don't you walk up there under that tree? I'm going to see so we can get some, what do you call that? Some size configuration. He's going in here, and I think you can see this. This is one of the prettiest scenes that I see again and again in photographs all the time. It's like the gateway to the sacred Penokees. The place where you can come to heal, that this darn little corporation that even big mining companies don't know about, fly-by-night operation. When U.S. Steel or Kennecott or Rio Tinto Zinc come in, don't they come in with a bunch of people? And how many people are employed by G-Tech?
It's kind of like a vacuum cleaner shop. They got 2 or 3 people. It's a fly-by-night little operation. It's kind of a mostly little deal in there. I stopped at their office. I love one of the signs that they have at their front desk. No solicitation allowed. Which means if you want to get some money for the kids to go on a trip somewhere, they don't want to give you nothing. Paul, they're really tight. They're really chintzy people. Hey, we got a deer on the other side of the river here. That's leaving some tracks for us. I really like this spot. This is a good space, eh? You know, in the summer we couldn't be out here. We'd be in the rapids, right?
It'd be in the rapids, and the thing is that once G-Tech gets its water, sewage, treatment, discharge permit, and a couple other things in place, they wanted to be out here a long time ago. They now can employ that 600-foot range thing, and it covers this area, which has been open to the public perpetually forever. It's one of the best kept secret scenic spots in a long place, and that's the unfortunate thing is it's coming back to haunt it. I've heard local residents say, we didn't want people coming up in the range here and seeing this beauty. This is where we trout fish and we trapped and we swam, and you know, you got bear hunters up here and you got ginseng collectors and medicine people and all that. Let's see if we can take a look at it. And this is our place, and we didn't want everyone to know about it, so that's part of the issue here.
I'm kind of stunned by this. During the spring, we can't get close to it like we can now, this outcropping. This is showing us what this deposit looks like, correct? The angle on the dangle here?
Yep.
The way it's
65,
65 degrees?
I believe that's what it is. It might be 65. Let's walk into this a little bit. I got about 40% power left, so I want to get in here at least. Because this is one of the tours I would always tell people to go on. This is feel this, Nick, okay?
Yeah.
You just kind of ducked in between like a little doorway here with cedar.
Right.
So you duck through here. It's like a doorway, and now we get underneath here, and we got. I'm gonna go up here and show you this. This is cedar trees. Let me tip all the way back and show you that. All right, just because it's neat.
It is neat.
And then we're gonna kind of come in underneath here in this naturally sheltered area. And give you a close-up of this. Now, if Joe Schoolin was here, or Greg, he'd be talking about plants. Joe would be talking about the geology of this thing, and he'd tell you the history of it. All these things that are turned sideways in upheaval, in a big upheaval earthquake, what, a billion years ago, they say? And
look at these trees coming out here, Paul.
and the thing is that this river worked its way through some cracks in here and opened this up so that it flows north. Well, you know, there's not a whole lot of rivers that flow north anywhere except in this area. And the geology of it is just beautiful. Now think about this. When it rains, the water can't go any source, so it runs off. So let's hypothetically say if it was to start to rain now, about an hour from now, this would be about 8 feet higher during the summer. Rushing through here, this deposit here, for how many years, and have worn it this wide, is just beautiful in here, but it rushes through here. And the thing is that it just upstream and around the corner is a gorge that has a run. It actually runs with this deposit on the next edge over. So, talk about serenity, yes. And what do we got here? Our Wawashkeshi running, coming up or coming down?
Let's see where the points are going. Looks like he's going that way. No, he's going this way. This is where he's going.
Going north.
Yeah, he's going north.
Deer smells fry bread at the Help Village Research Center.
Or bean soup.
Or bean soup.
Right.
All right, so you had a good New Year's Eve. Tell us a little bit about what New Year's Eve meant to you.
Well, we had deer meat soup, we had chicken soup, we had fry bread in Larry and Jen's lodge. We had our dear friends there, including you, and it was a nice time.
Chocolate candy.
Chocolate candy. We had a little fireworks display.
Fireworks to play, 14 seconds, wasn't it?
Well, they had quick fuses or something.
One of them. Listen, Pipe Mustache was just beginning to introduce me to Fireball Throwing 101 when he passed away.
Yeah.
So sometimes,
So we're getting there.
yeah. But we had that little 14-second burst of color up in the Penokees because I don't do my fireworks during 4th of July. I thought it was too chaotic. I always like to shoot off a little color in the middle of the winter, in the middle of the night, and when the lights go off, boom, and that's pretty. And I can tell you, being part of the Bear Clan, the bears might have twigged their ears a little bit and said, our brothers are here.
Well, there was a welcoming moment there. Well, like I say, I'm glad I was nimble and I was able to hit the snowdrift in time, because I lived to tell the story, Paul. But you know what happened at midnight? Larry and I both saluted the incoming air with our deer rifles. We echoed back and forth across.
Is that old Finnish? Anishinaabe?
Yeah,
Swedish?
It's part of the tradition, man. You gotta welcome the new life coming in.
You know, Nick, I'm Paul DeMain for IndianCountryTV.com. We're up in the Penokees. This is Nick Vander. We just took a walk from, the bottom of Moore Park Road up to the beautiful gorge. We only got a minute or two left on this thing because it's what, 9 below degrees right now only. Okay, it's warm today compared to 27. We're going off the air in a minute because the battery's given out, but thanks for showing me up here and being with me today. People, this is a public asset here, the public trust. Come out and help and support the camp, support the people that are up here camping, or not camping, living, harvesting, working, living, educating, doing all those things. So much more than recreational camping, I still use that word sometimes, but it's because it's understandable that when you're up in the woods were residing, and this is why we're up here, to help protect this. Didn't shut off yet. Watch it just say, well, just because it turned red and it gave you a 10-second warning doesn't mean I want to go off until something happens. Sasquatch! Hey! Sasquatch, where are you?
Honey?
I'm gonna, let's see, I'm gonna put a little bit of Osama down for the ice lady here before I leave, and save me Gwetch for this beauty. And let me come down this way a little bit. I'm gonna walk around here. I'm gonna get just a little bit closer to this edge here and take a peek at this gorge. Make sure that we're safe yet territory here. But look at this. I can see where some other people have been through. I'm gonna get in here to close this thing out. Maybe. I hear water beneath me, and so I'm just a little bit hesitant to move too fast. I'm gonna... Can you hear this? Well, Nick, let's wander back before my left toe freezes anymore. It's still on. It turned red and said we had a few seconds left, but it is hanging in there. This is a powerful spot. Power and beauty. I mean, you can hear it. It's kind of cute, I think. You know what here. I'm gonna have to do that when I dig back into the car there. All right. Watch this camera fool us and get us all the way back down to the bottom here. Now see, listen to that sound again. It's a lower tone. We just say it more bass. All the different kinds of flowing water in the range. There, so there's people, for those people who are snowshoers, actually might be able to get through here on some skis as well. Look at this. This is kind of an interesting thing. Maybe I can actually go down there. Let's see if I can bring this up. I'm going to walk down there and show you the artwork on this ice thing real quick. That's kind of interesting. Nick, how did that happen now? You come up here, and if you're an artist, and you're looking for, or a photographer and looking for things, you know, there's like this. Now, look, this is ice crystallines. and I can hear the rumble beneath us. How do those things crystallize like that? You got a ridge of ice up on top and the water levels dropped. And then what happened? Ice crystallines. Let's look back up here where we just were a minute ago. It's starting to get dark too. Sun's starting to go down. But that's where we were just a minute ago, up in the gorge there. And we're headed back down.
This is where we swim.
Around the corner here.
That's some little falls.
Yeah.
That's the pool there.
Yeah, that's the pool over there. Look, it's just phenomenal. That's why I was telling people, you got to come all 4 seasons because everything changes so much. I mean, you can't even see hardly anything, you know, during the summertime when the foliage is out. It's so quiet out here already. Quiet already, and yet during the summer times it's quieter yet, or maybe not. Maybe the snow's got it cushioned even more. Quiet year-round between the snow or the foliage. You want a quiet place to go? Come out here. Except for New Year's Eve for 14 seconds. That was the premature celebration for the future extradition of Bill Williams to Spain for criminal environmental crimes at a mine that collapsed over there, polluted the water aquifer for human drinkers with arsenic because they apparently drilled a bunch of wells illegally into an aquifer. And when there was a engineering disaster or collapse of the walls, people monitoring it noticed that these wells, and when they went to investigate these wells that were illegally drilled, that's the story as I understand it, they found the polluting of the aquifer. This is the guy that's running this project in northern Wisconsin. You know, and frankly, paid a couple of state senators political contributions to do their bidding, which they have. And so they think they're going to put a mine, you know, right here, right in this area. First phase, 4.5, 5 miles, but eventually 22 miles long, mile and a half wide, 1,000 feet deep, maybe deeper if they need to go. And call this all overburden, you know, and just kind of get rid of it. And all that wealth will go to a guy named Chris Klein, who lives in Florida, the world's 17th richest billionaire, who already has enough money, but wants more, or can't get enough. Sends essentially what are his henchmen into the area to hold carrots out in front of people, and some of a bit for it. I think the good people of Iron County are going to figure this thing out.